Guys, we know what the Republicans ran on. They ran on immigration and economy, right? So, of course, the other side, the losing side, is going to be like, hey, listen, I don't want you to do any of these things. We didn't run on these things. These things are not important to us. Well, guess what? Unfortunately, if you are a part of the United States of America, you kind of need to, at the very least, follow along with whatever the federal government is basically saying. I mean, states' rights only go to a certain extent, so it doesn't surprise me that in court they actually lost. No? Doesn't surprise me at all, guys. But all right, let's go and check this out. Name of the video is Appeal Court rules the U.S. can deport illegal migrants even if local law enforcement refuses. And this is a suggestion via Discord, guys. Let's check it out.
An appeals court on the West Coast just ruled the U.S. can deport illegal immigrants even if local governments oppose those removals. Chad Wolf joins me now. Does this mean Trump can get around sanctuary city rules?
To a certain extent, I think, though. Yeah.
Well, I think this is obviously a win for the incoming Trump administration. And I think what this validates is the ability for ICE to do their job, to remove individuals, bad individuals from the country, regardless of what local jurisdictions may or may not do to help them do that. It's federal immigration law, and they have the ability to execute on that law, so it's a good ruling for them.
Right. How long before the concept of the migrant sanctuary is just out of bounds? I think the whole sanctuary idea is just losing steam. I think it's nearing its end. What say you?
Well, I think you're right, Stuart. I think what you see in places like New York, right? You got Mayor Adams saying, look, he wants to sit down with Tom Homan and talk about how they can work together to remove dangerous individuals from their city streets. And I think once you've got blue city mayors that start to understand what is going on here and how those illegal aliens that are continue to commit those crimes and put their community at danger, and how ICE can help them, I think they'll start to come around. But I agree.
Okay, really quickly, guys, we're going to interject here. To a certain extent, what he's saying is definitely, in fact, true. But I don't think that that the actual sanctuary cities themselves are stressing, let's say, over the minuscule amount of actual individuals that are there in an illicit manner, committing crimes. Because there, at least, what it is about the budget. Purely, it's about the budget. For all the excuses that a lot of these gigantic cities have made about how they can't afford things, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're able to pull up billions of dollars. I mean, yeah, the citizens or the constituents of the actual individual city, let's say, they absolutely are going to be pissed seeing that. Now you're starting to see a lot of people from the inner cities specifically starting to flip red because of this, because you cannot say you don't have the money and then when all these people come out of nowhere, you miraculously have the money. I mean, the pressure of that in itself is most likely what is forcing the hand of a gigantic amount of these sanctuary city mayors.
I agree with you. I think the public sentiment on sanctuary city jurisdictions has turned over these last 6 to 8 months.
I really think public sentiment changes when it looks like sanctuary city mayors or sanctuary city state governors are protecting criminals. I mean, I don't see how you can get away with that politically. You've got a rapist in prison, you won't let ICE go get him. I don't see that lasting.
To a certain extent.
Well, I think that's right. But, what a lot of these blue city mayors are good at doing is they conflate the facts, right? They'll say, well, I want to protect residents in my community, but what they're not saying is I won't turn over criminals to ICE. So I think the more and more that we talk about this, to say all ICE is asking them to do is to let them pick up this dangerous alien criminal while they're in a local jail, so that they don't have to go into city streets, into those communities and put others at risk. Right. When you have an enforcement team that goes out there, let ICE do that within the confines of a jail, which is safe and secure, not only for the officer, but for that alien as well. And that's all we're talking about. And but what you see a lot of these mayors do is they conflate that to say, well, I don't want them to pick up, that 87-year-old grandmother. That's not what we're talking about here. It's not what the president's talking about. It's not what Tom Homan's talking about.
Tom Homan says you go after the villains first and take care of the rest later. But
8 seconds left.
Chad, thanks for joining us.
All right, guys. Just making sure they weren't saying anything before we kind of ended the video here, guys. But if you pay attention to what's being said, you'll realize instantly that it is about specifically getting the the migrant's secondary criminal offense, let's say. Like if you do something crazy while you're here, it's time for you to go. To my knowledge, like growing up in America, all right, I always thought that even if someone got something that was as mundane as a slight parking ticket, they had to basically pack their bags, guys. That's what I thought my entire life, basically, up until pretty much recently. The more with more information you gain, basically, you can kind of come up with brand new insights on things. And I can definitely tell you right now, my insight has massively changed. And I'm definitely someone who is married to a woman that's not from the United States of America, immigrated completely legal, and I've also immigrated to her country, and I'm a legal resident there, right? So I understand the concept of doing things the correct way, right? And I know how much money and work actually goes into actually doing that. America is probably one of the places that are much more expensive. And I mean that. I think when I got residency in Spain, I think it was like, maybe like $30 or something like that versus her here. Total costs were a little over like $6,000 or something like that, guys. And my son, the same exact thing, because unfortunately I didn't, run over to the embassy and say, it's my American son. I should have done that. That would have saved a whole lot of time and money, bro. All right. But that's not the point here. Like there is a way to do it legally, but most people just don't, again, have those funds, to actually be able to come here. Let's say it's a very expensive country to immigrate to, guys. Definitely. But I'm glad that at least, some, let's say the courts at least, ruled that you can't say no to the federal government when the federal government wants to get the individuals that have come into the country in a very illicit manner out of the country. And specifically those that have come here for what reason? Asylum fraud or economic migrancy. Or how about this? If you actually listen to what they say, like the individuals that have come through the border, mostly all of them are saying economic reasons. And that's not asylum, guys. Like that's not a reason to let someone into the country, because all that's going to do is help with remittance, basically, to their own home country. They're going to come here, work, and then immediately send their money that they're making here back to their country. And that income to their country is going to display as remittance on their GDP, guys. Like this is not something that we do here, guys. Like if you are a refugee, okay, or if you are suffering from something that actually qualifies as asylum, then I don't see how you being in the United States of America is an actual issue. All right, I don't see that. I'm not one of these people who say ban all immigration and things like that. That's crazy. That's completely ignorant. But if your first act in the United States of America is basically breaking the law by lying on asylum paperwork, bro, it's time for you to go. I have no remorse. I can't have any remorse for that, bro. I can't. You are committing a crime. If we were to trespass as Americans, most likely you're going to go to jail if you're trespassing. But the difference is that they trespassed on our southern border, came through, and some states are giving them houses and debit cards. Okay, so that's where we are here. But all right, listen. You guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. This is my lightsaber. Hey guys, you guys subscribe to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Oh, also, Mr. L. Boyd Discusses. Guys, check it out. And if you haven't heard it today, you're amazing.